Hello, everyone. My name is Jarius Rowland, and welcome to FirmBank Link's third virtual FLO training. Sadly, this is our last live training, but in the near future, we will create more videos and demonstrations for you to view on our YouTube page and social media sites. Guess what we're talking about today? Judging. I know it's boring, but it's the most important topic. Since this is a big topic, I brought a few friends to help: Yajit, Victoria, and Julian. Now it's time to dig in. To start off, Victoria is going to talk to you about some updates to this year's FLL game. Victoria?
Thank you, Jarius. Hi, I'm Victoria. Many of you are new to FLL, so you may not be aware of this, but this year the judges will not judge for core values individually. Instead, they will only judge the innovation project and robot design. However, the core values will be the filter through which your presentations will be judged. Remember that the core values are just that, the core of everything we do in FIRST. The judges will be on the lookout for examples of how you and your team demonstrated and improved on all the core values throughout the season. Therefore, you need to include core values indicators into your presentations, and you can even explain how you demonstrated core values in the optional summary video. Examples of using and improving on the core values can be in the format of pictures, written entries, and even video footage, which you include in the documents and videos that you will submit to FIRST. It is important to reference this year's rubric to ensure that you cover what the judges are looking for in your presentations. The rubrics for core values, as well as the other judging areas, can be found at firstlegoleague.org. Okay, now that you've heard all the gritty stuff, it's time to talk about core values with Julian.
Hello, my name is Julian, and I'm going to be talking to you about the core values. There are 6 core values, those of which being discovery, innovation, impact, inclusion, teamwork, and fun. Victoria and I are going to go through the list and kind of just run over each of them and explain what they mean. So let's get right into it.
Discovery! Oh, what's this here I found? Search for clues and discover new ideas when you find a curious lead. Be the team that comes to the competition with a unique strategy.
Thank you, Julian. The definition for discovery is we explore new skills and ideas. Some ways that you can demonstrate this core value is when you brainstorm or research information for your project, plan your robot design, or use tutorials for building or programming the robot. In all these things, especially if you are a new team this year, you will need to explore new skills and ideas. Next, Julian will tell you about innovation.
Innovation! Ugh, I can't understand this. Help your teammates solve problems. If you can't figure it out, bring in someone else or do some research to learn more about it.
Thank you, Julian. The definition for innovation is we use creativity and persistence to solve problems. In everything you do in FLL, you will often be faced with unexpected problems. This core value teaches us to think outside the box and be patient, determined, and persevering as we create solutions to these problems. Next, Julian will tell you about impact.
Impact! Wait, oh no, there's a problem in the world, but you can help solve it. Research and come up with the solution so we can all benefit.
Thank you, Julian. The core value of impact states we apply what we learn to improve our world. This year's theme is called Replay, and the challenge is to come up with ways to help people be more active. As Julian said, you and your team will identify a problem, research it, and come up with a solution. It is essential to share your solution with other people. Those can be family and friends, your school, and even professionals who work in that field. Consider also how your project can help the community. You may even decide to share it with local officials. Thus, you demonstrate impact by using your solution to help those around you. This core value is also shown when teammates have a positive impact on each other within the team. Next, Julian will tell you about inclusion.
Inclusion! You too! All people have different weaknesses and strengths, but if we all work together, we'll go amazing lengths.
Thank you, Julian. The definition of inclusion is we respect each other and embrace our differences. A team is a group of people united to accomplish a shared goal. Everyone on your team is unique and can contribute their knowledge and talent to the team. The core value of inclusion teaches us to make sure that everyone is respected and that their voices are heard. This will enable your team to be united and strong. Next, Julian will tell you about the core value of teamwork.
Teamwork! What about me? Make sure everyone is working and not just playing around. Once everyone's incorporated, productivity will astound.
Thank you, Julian. The core value of teamwork states we are stronger when we work together. This core value teaches us that everyone must work together and help each other in order for a team to be efficient and successful. You may know the saying, 2 heads are better than 1. You can also say that working together gets twice the work done in half the time. Next, Julian will tell you about fun.
Fun! Everyone loves fun. If it gets too hard, take a break. You'll be all refreshed when you wake. So get to work.
Thank you, Julian. Last but certainly not least is the core value of fun, which states we enjoy and celebrate what we do. With all things an FLL team does, there is always time for fun, and there are plenty of ways a team can have fun in FLL. In my personal experience, whether the team is working together on something, having a team discussion, or partying to celebrate the team's accomplishments, doing things with the team is enjoyable and becomes a comfortable, family-like environment where connections are made and friendships are built.
Hello again, I'm Julian, and I'm going to be explaining core values diaries. Well, what is a core values diary, you might ask? So, I'll tell you a story. Back when I was in FLL, we made core values diaries, where after every meeting, each person would write down what they did during that meeting. Throughout the weeks and months, while we are building our robot and working on our project, we will eventually get a notebook or a binder or a big document or something that we keep all our little entries in and keep it in one place. You know all the judges are going to expect you to know all the core values. Well, just check your diary. Well, what is a core values diary for? You can go through and it's just a refresher, it's a reminder, and it helps a lot, and it's also a good place to keep everyone's work together. All in all, a core values diary is a great way to remember all your core values. Back to you, Jarius.
Thank you, Victoria and Julian. Well, even though core values are a big part of your performance, the judges also want to know about your robot. Now, you may think, what is there to say? It's a robot. It does what I want it to do. It does all the missions. But there's a lot the judges want to know about your robot, and Yajit is going to tell us all about it. Yajit?
As Jerry has said, the judges want to know all about your robot, but the main thing they look for is your presentation and consideration. There are 5 categories in the robot design rubric, which we will go over now, starting with Identify. Let's take a look at the Identify slide. For this, you need to be able to clearly present your strategy while explaining why you made the choices about which missions to attempt. It's alright to mention changes you made to your strategy along the way, but make sure you show a clear strategy the whole team has eventually decided on. Talking about the whole team, the Identify category of the rubric also requires that you show all team members are familiar with the way the robot was built and programmed. The skills required to make your robot work should have been gained by every team member. Which takes us to the next section, Design. Let's take a look at the design slide. Your process of designing your robot mechanisms and writing and organizing your code is important for judges because it shows whether you had an effective work plan. An ineffective work plan would be randomly adding on mechanisms and having code all around the place, or not paying attention to the season schedule. An effective work plan shows that you've been on track to have your robot work before the competition. Also, you need to explain why your robot design decisions and code are innovative, because innovation is a part of this category. How are your mechanisms special? Why is the code elegant? Let's move on to the next category, which is create. For this category, you will need to prove that your robot actually works the way you've described it to. Make sure that the robot uses all of its mechanisms and sensors. Don't have any quote-unquote dead weight on the robot, which is parts that were intended to have a purpose but ended up being unused. Also, it's important to explain how the code allows the robot to actually perform the mission. What is the role of separate blocks of code in getting a certain mission done? The next category is iterate. Let's take a look at the iterate slide. This goes back to the process of developing your robot and code. Be able to show that you faced struggles and solved problems as you made a robot to complete missions. Most teams don't make a robot that does everything perfectly the first time, and that's completely normal. The important thing is that you've come over obstacles and improved your robot and code to complete the mission successfully, and that process is what judges are looking for here. Explain how you tested your robot, and what you learned from those tests, and how that helped you make improvements. This is also part of the last category, which is communicate. Let's take a look at communicate. So after a clear explanation of your robot design process, you need to show that all team members were involved, preferably at about an equal level, in making your robot work. You might want to describe the roles of different members and how they contributed to the team. In conclusion, be prepared to talk about your design decisions, process, and strategy development for the robot design rubric.
Thank you, Yujit, for explaining the robot design rubric and the process of judging when it comes to robot design. Now, you already know me. My name is Jarius, and I will be talking about the innovative project. When you're innovative, you think in your own creative way by coming up with ideas. Now, before we start, we're going to read the challenge story to get an idea of what the theme of this FLO game is. Now, all around us, there are opportunities to play and be active, from open parks to cement courts, in our classrooms, and even when we're waiting in line. But more and more people are not active enough. So Maya asks, how and where can we help people be more active? Get them motivated, reward them. The park bench, on the bus. So how are we going to solve these challenges? Let's ask people we know. Playing makes being active more fun. You get creative when you want to play, and it's this creativity, your creativity, everyone, that can help motivate us to be more active. Starting with identify, this is the most important step. For this, your team has to clearly define an existing problem that relates to the game and research it to find a solution. In order to identify the problem, you and your team first need to learn about the challenge topic. Then you will want to view multiple sources that relate to that topic. That way, you can include research online or talk to professionals who relate to that project. And don't forget to download the topic guide. It contains many resources that will help you with this year's project and theme. That leads us to our next step, design. When you and your team are designing, you're coming up with the innovative solution. When you do your planning, you'll bring all your wonderful ideas together and decide on the best one. Now, an innovative solution is a solution that adds value to your society and your community by using something that either already exists or you can create something new. By bringing those ideas together, you can impact your community in a positive way and you can help other people benefit from that decision. This is a great chance for you to talk with your professionals. Maybe if you're talking about fires, you could talk to your firefighters in your area so you can see what's needed, what money, what resources. What you decide then will determine how you will perform in all of the competitions. That then leads us to our next part, the most fun part, create. This is where the real fun begins, where you can take that original idea that you came up with and build something based off of that idea. You can create a prototype, or you could draw a design, or you could design one on your computer. It doesn't have to be fully functional, but it could be just a basic partial prototype or something that explains to the judges what idea and what solution you and your team came up with. That leads us to iterating your project. When you iterate your project, you and your team share their ideas, collect feedback, and include improvements in your solution. This is an opportunity for you to share your research with somebody else. That way, you can make a difference and motivate them where they will all benefit. You're probably wondering, how do I share it with other people? This is my idea. Now, you can share it with people at your school, people that's affected by the problem, or even your friends. That way, you could bring everyone in on that solution and everyone can benefit and make an impact in your community. Or if you want to, you could talk to your government officials, like maybe the mayor, or you could talk to your principal who can help you bring your solution to a bigger audience. That leads us to our next topic, communicating your idea. Now, judges, they don't want to sleep on your presentation. They want to engage in an exciting presentation. They don't want to fall asleep, and your team should share a creative and effective presentation of your solution. Think of it as joining an interview at a toy company. They want to know why your toy is the coolest. Why should we sell it to all these kids? Well, you want to explain it to them in a fun way where even the adults will play with your toy. You don't want them to fall asleep on your toy and just throw it out the door. You want them to play with it and sell it, and all the kids can play with your toy. That's what you want the judges to see. You want the judges to see your solution and think of it as the best solution to that problem that you have found. Now, what's next? Now, we're going to talk about awards and submission details. So, since everything is virtual, this year is going to be different than usual. So, you have an option to include a video of one or more of your judge entries/slash submissions. But we're going to talk about that after we talk about the awards. Now, there are multiple awards that you could get, but there are a few main ones. And the first one we're going to start with is the Champions Award. With that award, there's one winner, and this award celebrates a team that embodies the first LEGO League Challenge experience in full. And you always express core values throughout your team and robot performance and robot design innovation project. This way, the judges, they see what you and your team are doing in your community, and they see how you're demonstrating discovery, innovation, inclusion, teamwork, fun, and impact. They want to see how you're demonstrating all those throughout everything you and your team are doing this season. Now we're going to talk about the Core Values Award. Now, the Core Values Award is a pretty prestigious award, and this is for the team that is just at the top of their game when it comes to core values. You just show it throughout everything you do, your spirit, your enthusiasm, everything you do demonstrates the core values, and you always demonstrate respect to your individuals and team members at all times. Now, the Innovation Project Award, this team utilizes diverse resources. So you use all those resources I was telling you about, maybe speaking to your officials or researching online or Googling. You use all those resources to the best of your ability to solve the problem and create a well-researched solution. Of course, you have to be very creative with this one, and you have to create a solution that can help everyone in your community benefit. Now, the Robot Design Award. This award is for the team that uses outstanding programming principles and solid engineering practices to develop a perfect, well, nothing's perfect, but a wonderful robot that is mechanically sound, durable, which means it's very sturdy, it doesn't break, and efficient and highly capable of performing all the challenge missions that you and your team were planning on doing. Now, there are a few optional awards. There's the Breakthrough Award. This award goes to the team member that made significant progress in their confidence and capability in both the robot game innovation project and core values. Now, with these optional awards, like the Breakthrough Award, I'm not sure if they're going to be doing those this year because the judges won't physically be able to see that you and your team have improved or experience your confidence capability physically since we're not going to be in a in-person competition, but it is still important that you and your team look at these awards and look at your rubrics and look through to see what can I do to gain this award. When you and your team are working together, you want to strive to get all of the awards. You want to do your best that you can to go by the rubric of every single award that you see. That way, you will know that you could get every award that's there and that your team won't feel like, oh, I don't think I did the best. Your team would know that you can get any award that's on this list. Now, the Engineering Excellence Award, that's an award that celebrates a team with a very efficiently designed robot. To learn how to design an efficient robot, you can go back to our robot design training that we have posted previously. There will be a link in the description to go to that video. There's also a Rising All-Star Award. Now, this award celebrates a team that the judges notice. They see you and expect great things from you in the future. They say, man, this team is so innovative. They show all the core values. They show excellent teamwork. They're always discovering something new. They have a wonderful impact on their community. And every time I see them, they just have a super positive attitude and they're so fun to deal with. You want the judges to think of you in that way. You want them to see that you are the best team there. Now, there are a few other awards. The Robot Performance Award. This award is for your actual missions in your game. So this award celebrates a team that scores the most points during your robot game. Like I said before, since we're not doing a physical competition, I'm not sure if you will compete in more than 3 matches. Now, in a few more slides, we will explain to you your competition dates and deadlines. Now, the Motivate Award, this award goes to celebrates the team that embraces the culture of all of First Lego League's spirit, team building, and displays excellent enthusiasm. You see how enthusiastic I am? Yes, I'm enthusiastic. And you and your team should display that in everything you do, even in your robot performance. When you're shooting your robot, even though it's just an overview of your robot, they can still hear you and your team cheering each other on and showing your spirit and how much fun you all are having. Now we're going to talk about some of the submission details. Now for your summary video, this is for your judging. Now this could be there's only one judge entry and editing is allowed for this one. Although editing is not allowed, let me restate this so you understand this. It is not allowed. You cannot edit your robot performance video. Now that is the video that shows your robot navigating the field and doing all the missions. You cannot edit that one. Now your optional summary video is no longer than 5 minutes. And mainly this is going to be about innovation and core values in robot design. So for an example, me and my team may just do 5 minutes for the project skit, and we might just talk about innovation project for the whole time. Or me and my team could do 2 minutes for explaining my programming with my robot design. I could do 2 minutes for my project script, and I submit 1 minute of describing the ways I demonstrate core values. Now, this could take you back to your core values diaries that Julian was talking about. And with this, you can go back to it and say, judges, today, me and my team, we expressed so much teamwork with each other and we worked together as a team and we had so much fun. That's just a light example of you explaining how you and your team demonstrated core values throughout your season. Now, all the time, you need to discover each topic. So, project, robot design, and core values. And your video can be no longer than 5 minutes. And there are a few due dates. So, your regional judge submission is due Saturday, January the 9th. Your team state advancement will be announced on Saturday, February the 6th. Your state judge submission is due Saturday, February the 6th, and we will talk to you in more detail about your state judge submission. And your robot performance will be due, or if things lighten up, it will be held like in person on Saturday, March the 6th. And what we've all been waiting for, your state winners will be announced Saturday, February 13th. Now, to continue on some more submission details, you will need to always include indicators of your project and robot design presentations. You need to always indicate that you are expressing core values throughout everything that you and your team do. And they want to see, how did they express teamwork here? How did they express innovation here? How did they express discovery here? How did they express impact here? How were they fun here? How were they not included here? How are they all included here? They want to see how you express each core value throughout every single thing you did in your judging submission. When you do this, you want to include an explanation in your document. That's your summary, the submission that you're going to give them about how you demonstrated those core values. Now, like I said before, the core values diary is very useful. That way you won't have to think, ah, man, how did I demonstrate core values here? I have no idea. You can just look back at your core values diary and say, so today I demonstrated core values and I was very helpful. And me and my team demonstrated teamwork here. We had fun here. We included everyone here and we impacted our community in this way. Now, for robot performance, like I said before, one, unedited, not interrupted video showing your robot navigating the field with a static wide shot of the entire table as the robot progresses. After this video, within maybe the week or two, we will show you a video of how to pan your camera and set up your camera to show the entire field table and how to zoom in and out of your robot navigating and completing each mission throughout your game. Now, your robot performance video for regionals cannot be submitted to the state competition. Two separate videos, one for regionals and one for state. You have to submit a new video doing the missions all over again. So make sure your robot is consistent. Like we talked about in the robot design video, you can use jigs to keep your robot aligned well so that you can do those missions consistently. And your state video must be date stamped after December 5th, 2020. So for your robot design, you have to have a written document, which we call the Robot Executive Summary. Now, for the Robot Executive Summary, you are submitting a document that explains everything that we explained to you in the robot design training. You're going to explain it to the judges in this Robot Executive Summary. What did you do? The purpose of the Robot Design Executive Summary is to give the robot design judges a quick itty bitty overview of your team's robot and all that it could do. The judges, they want to know about your programming, like we said before, and what language you use. Did you use the regular EV3 or did you use Scratch? How did you and your team program? What did you do? They want you to share a little bit of facts about your robot, such as the number and type of sensors you use, your drivetrain details and number of parts and the number of attachments. The judges also like to know what programming language your team used, like I said before, and the number of programs and the robot game missions that your team had that was the most successful that you submitted. We will give you a resource document explaining what I'm about to explain to you. But for the design details, you want to explain it in a fun way. You want to describe the most fun or interesting part of your robot design, as well as the most challenging parts. That's when it comes to your robot diary that I was telling you about in the first training that we did. This way you can submit, me and my team, we had a few problems here. We weren't able to flip over the wheel on this one. So that way the judges would know, okay, they had a few troubles here, and then they can look back at your submission. They say, oh, wow, they really advanced and they were able to achieve and find a solution to that problem that you were having. You also want to explain your team strategy and research for choosing how you accomplish your missions. So the judges also want to know how you accomplished your missions, and they want you to talk a little bit about how successful the robot was in completing the missions that you chose. Now, for your design process part, they want you to describe how your team designed their robot and what process they used to make improvements. For these details, you always want to go back to your robot design rubric, like Yajit said. You want to go back to that rubric and read through each part. And you want your coaches to quiz you. You want your teammates to quiz each other. And you could go through each section and say, how was my mechanical design here? How was my programming here? How was my design process here? How innovative was I here? Now, for mechanical design, you want to explain the robot's basic structure. So, did you have a cast around your robot? Did you use wall aligning wheels? Did you line follow? Did you line adjust? They want to see how you built your robot and what you use to help your robot achieve those missions. They want to see your overall build of your complete robot. Now, for programming, Of course, they want you to describe how your team programmed the robot. It's very helpful to use comments on your code. So you can submit a picture of all of your code and put maybe little thought bubbles at the top saying, right here, this part helps the robot detect the black on the field. And that way it could turn left and lift the people on the slide or something. They just want to see how detailed you are with your robot and what you use and what blocks you use. Did you use the line following block, the sensor block, the touch sensor block, the color sensor block? What did you use? They want to know what you did and how you did it and what your team did to complete all of your missions. Now, for the trial run, you want to run your robot briefly to demonstrate how it completes all your missions your team chose. When you do this, do not do an entire robot round. You can just do little clips for yourself and just document it. Every day, you should be videotaping your robot. I'm trying it this time. You can caption it and say, just finished programming the first block, and then you run your robot. Just finished programming the color sensor, then you run your robot. So you could document how your team struggled and how your team created a innovative solution to solve all of your missions. Now, finally, for the project, you want to create a written document, or like I said before, it can be a optional summary video submission that explains the problem, explains the solution, and how and whom it was shared with. Now, for this part, you want to absolutely make sure that you go back to your innovative project rubric. That way, you can keep track of everything you're doing and you can make sure that there's no problems with what your solution is and what your problem is. You always want to, like I said before, make sure that you talk to your professionals, and they don't even have to be high ranking professionals. They can be people like your mentor. Your mentor can know a lot about fires or stuff. It could just be someone that a little bit of experience with it, that knows just a tiny little bit, just enough for you and your team to know what to say to the judges. And that concludes our video. Thank you for watching, everyone. We will create more videos in the future that will explain things that you need to know for FLO, and we will create a video soon that will teach you how to pan your robot and zoom in your camera so that you can show your whole game field when you are submitting your submission to the judges. Thank you everyone for coming, and we will see you next time.